Hello and welcome to another episode of Women of Abundant Wealth, where we're reestablishing the destinies that have been redirected. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for sending in your text messages, your emails, your snail mails. We just really appreciate it. We thank you for any, feedback that you can give us. We thank you for just participating in what we have going on. Women of Abundant Wealth, like I said, is reestablishing the destinies that have been redirected. There was a time in my life and probably some of your life that you had a plan for your life and you knew exactly where you wanted to go and where you wanted to be, but you got thrown off. But guess what? This is your time and your season to get back on track and allow God to put you in the position that He originally had for you. On here, you will see us having panels. We'll be one-on-one talks. You may see skits, drama, people singing. We want to leave it open to what you want to hear. But today, I'm just so excited. I have with me a young lady that has an awesome testimony, doing wonderful things in the community, and she just oozes with love. And when you look at her, you see her smile. And when I mean you see her smile, everywhere I've seen this woman at, she's always smiling. Even in pictures, in public, she's just always smiling. And I want you guys to help me welcome Miss Sheryl Jones.
Hi, Katrina.
How are you?
I'm doing great. So excited to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
I am so excited that you are here. You are here, and your smile is here. I told you guys, her smile.
Definitely excited to be here and just excited to share with others.
Wow. Well, Sheryl, I heard you speaking at a speaking engagement, and your testimony, just the way you presented yourself and the love that I felt coming from you, I was like, wow, this lady has really been through a lot, but she's managing to love through it all.
Absolutely.
And I was like, she is a guest that I need to have eventually on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I wanted to let everyone know that my story was really birthed from my own pain of losing my special needs son, Adrian. And you guys, I think for me, that's where life really began. As I think back over my life, that was such a traumatic time that it changed the trajectory of my life. It really did. And it changed me from a person that was shy to a person that was really outgoing and really loving everyone. So I think that's one of the things that I learned most, Katrina, is about just having the ability, having God come into your life and change your life in an instant. And everything can change. And I just let people know that love can change anything, and that we have the opportunity to change our lives when we truly believe that we can, and that when we get to work to do that, definitely.
Wow. So tell me about this. Now, you're labeled as the Queen of Heart. I like that. Who gave you that title?
Well, it's so funny. My company on October 14th will be 10 years old. So I'm so excited about that because it has been an interesting time and being in business, you guys. It has been a blessing from God, and I know that I've helped several hundreds of families. And one of my families back in, goodness, it had to be about 9 years ago now, in that first year I was in business, she had just told me she had been around a lot of social workers, and I'm a social worker by trade. I've spent my whole life serving others, loving others, giving to others. And she had just told me that she had never met anyone that loved as much as I love. Because I'm the type of person, if you're having a crisis, if I hear it, if I need to, I will get off the phone and come to your house so I can help you. I'm that type of social worker. There's not a lot of us around that are like that anymore. But I truly believe that God really has put in my heart, when someone needs something, I need to act. I need to respond. So it's so important that we do that in life. And she gave me the title, You're the Queen of Hearts, and it has just been something that has stuck with me for the whole 9 years. So I absolutely love it because I really do love from my heart. And I really do just accept people wherever they are. And knowing sometimes, you guys, that you can be, not loved back. So I will tell you that. But we have to make a decision within our own heart that we're going to continue to love regardless of what the circumstance is, regardless of what the response is. So I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in life, is just how to love in spite of, So it's been a blessing, definitely. So.
Wow. Yeah, that in spite of, I know my grandmother used to say, just love them, just love them. And I was like, Nanny, I don't know
They don't deserve
if I can love them. But she would always bring everything back to the word. She would always say, well, Jesus may look at you and think, well, she doesn't need to be loved, but he died for you anyway.
Right, absolutely.
And every time I think about that, when hard times come, or when you think, you know, I can't love the unlovable.
Right.
You think back, well, I'm unlovable.
Right.
I'm
Absolutely.
unlovable. And somebody died for me.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
can understand the love without,
Jesus definitely did give us the best example ever.
God, yes.
And when we think about, you know, just how bad things can be, okay, we didn't lose our life, so it's okay. We can move on, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
definitely just kind of making everything small things, you know. I tell people, you know, to get over the big thing, get over the little things, you know, but when you look at it, even the big things are small things in the whole scheme of life. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, because we blow everything out of proportion.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's bigger than we think.
Yes,
and
yes,
then by the time
definitely.
we look at it, we're like, oh, that was actually a speck.
Yes, nothing to worry about,
It was
definitely.
just a speck. Well, tell us a little bit about your business. You work with special needs.
I do. I
us
am
about
a social worker here in the Dallas area. I have a contract with Dallas Metro Care, so that means I work with
Okay.
adults and children. So it's kind of exciting to work with both. That's what I tell people. I love the fact that I get to work with adults and children with special needs, from autism, Down syndrome, mental retardation. I work with really everyone on the MR spectrum, which is the mental retardation spectrum. I have the opportunity of providing respite care services for them, where I provide their parents or their caregiver with the staff to make sure that they can have a break. So I send in a staff to take the child or adult out for an outing, or that child or adult can stay in the home while the parents go out. So it kind of works both ways. So it has been a blessing. I've worked with over, goodness, now close to 700 families in the past 10 years. It's been a blessing. It's been a wonderful business, wonderful career. After the death of Adrian, what I thought about, you guys, and one of the things I want to show you is the book that I wrote about my special needs son, because of him, because of Adrian. And the reason that I wrote this book, you guys, is because I learned 10 powerful lessons from this book. And I just encourage everybody, go to Amazon, you can go to my website, just wherever, and get you a copy of this book, because it can transform your life. But the reason that I share that is after Adrian passed away, well, let me back up a little bit. When Adrian was alive, you guys, I made sure that I was a person that was always researching. When Adrian was born, you know, they told me that he had a problem. They eventually told me it was cerebral palsy. They didn't expect him to live very long at all.
Wow.
And, you know, as a result, I became a researcher. I tell people, you know, when something is wrong, I think we all have the ability to find out what we can do to make things better. You know, we may not be able to solve the problem per se, but we can make life better. And that's what I just vowed, that I would make sure that I would give him the best life ever, you know, for as long as I had him. So that was my commitment to him. So doing all my research, calling people, checking into things, checking into companies, different, you know, social service agencies and whatnot, I found the best doctor ever for him.
Wow.
And it was so funny. Dr. Robinson was like his grandfather. He really was, because when I got Adrian to him after he got out of Children's Medical Center after being there for 3 months, he was like his grandfather. He really was. And he just told me he wasn't even worried about him having the disability of cerebral palsy. What he was worried about was his lungs. And it was like a shock to me, because I thought, you know, okay, I thought this was such a big thing, you know, but he really explained to me, no, in the scheme of things, we're going to look at his health. We're going to look at the whole child. And when he said, you know, his lungs are really bad, you know, and he just kind of explained that. And as a result, Adrian died from pneumonia. That's what he died from, because he had pneumonia 22 times in his young, short life. Yeah. So he was always sickly. So I just encourage families, when you have a child with special needs, I really want you to give them the best you possibly can. One of the motivational speakers that I listen to is E.T., the hip hop preacher. And he always says, make the rest of your life the best of your life, you guys. And I just encourage you to really do that. Make the rest of your life the best of your life, because it's so important that we not neglect one day, because we never know how much time we have left. And I just tell people all the time, you know, if you wake up, it's a good day, you know, and just take it from there, you know, just do our best to be the best we can to others and be the best we can to ourselves. So that's what's so important, definitely.
Wow. So when you talk about Adrian, did you have kids after that?
Yes, I do. I have a son now that's in the Navy, so it's exciting. And I also have a daughter now, and I'm also now a grandmother, so I'm so excited about that. Yes.
So when you had your other children, were you concerned? Were there worries?
I was very concerned. I really was, because I didn't know, you know, Where did the cerebral palsy come from? You know, and as a result, I found out since I had Adrian at 5 months, 5.5 months, he was without oxygen, so that's how the cerebral palsy came about. So after I found out all of the details, you know, it was good to know, and I was, you know, excited that everything would be okay. And many times, you guys, and I hope the audience is really thinking about this, many times when a special needs child is born, a lot of the families, mom and dads, they either break up or get a divorce or something. Wow. That is really, if you look at the statistics, it's a huge, huge stress on the family. And I just encourage family members and friends really to help out. Many times they need a break. They need somebody to come over and say, hey, let me take the child so you can take a nap, you know, or whatever, to go on a date with your husband or whatever. So it's just so important that we just be a support to individuals with special needs and their families.
Wow, yeah, because I think sometimes I have a cousin, and she has 2 boys with autism, and she said you would be surprised at the looks I get because, you know, the behavioral issues. Right, definitely. And she was like, the looks I get, it's like people don't understand. Yes. And I said, well, then you need to educate people that this is what's going on, and they're just not children running around misbehaving or, you know, just being bad, that they have serious issues that need to be attended to.
Absolutely.
And there's ways that you have to discipline that you wouldn't discipline a normal child.
Absolutely.
So I'm just so excited about that. So do your children now, do they get involved in the special needs business?
Oh, yes, definitely. I do several events for the consumers that I have, and my children are always involved. My son is out of town now. He's in California, but when he's here, he loves to do things with the clients and everything, and my daughter is involved. Every month I do, one of the things about special needs individuals and children, you guys, is many times they are invisible to the world. People will walk around them and act like they don't see them. They act like, you know, they don't exist. So I have a tagline in my company. It's a celebration of the invisible, because I truly believe that we have a responsibility to be kind to everybody we meet, you know, and I want to make sure that they're celebrated as much as they possibly can while they're with me, definitely. So every month I do this event called Friday Night Social. And it's just a time to have a dance and to eat pizza and have fun. And what I found is I have a lot of the children bring in their brothers and sisters, and they like it just as much as a special needs child, because it's just really a time of celebration. It really is. And I tell people, you could act like it's your birthday every month if you want to. It doesn't matter, you know.
Well, I'm
just
good
come
with that.
And have fun. Yeah, definitely. So it's just really a celebration. It is.
And that was my next question. Does the, you know, getting the whole family involved, because I know you had mentioned, you know, hey, come over, help mom and dad go out on a date. But it really is a family affair.
It is,
and a community affair. If you know people, if your neighbors have special needs kids, everybody needs to get involved. Do you encourage that?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm about to start and do a lot more of is going to the various churches and doing more community, just really education, not only for the parents, but for the members of the church. If they could just give the sister, you know, a break for those 2 hours of worship, you know, and be there to be a peer advocate for that child while they're at church. They don't realize how much of a help that is, because I know so many special needs moms who never go to church anymore because there's no one there to take care of their child. So this is just a huge, I think, if you look at the numbers, things with autism, you know, children with autism, that's being diagnosed more and more and more. So I don't think that this is a problem that's going to go away. I think that we as a community need to address it and say, okay, you know, even if somebody can only volunteer 30 minutes, if they're just really stressed out and they can only handle 30 minutes, maybe, you know, they could piece together 3 or 4 people to do a 2-hour shift or whatever, you know, so that parent can have a chance to worship, you know, that parent can have a chance to go to the movies or just whatever, you know, so it's so important, so important. So
because you think about it, when you think about that, they'll, if they have a special need child that will always need their attention, they'll never get a break. It's like, most of the time we wait for the child to turn 18, send them off to college, it's our time to live. But these parents don't have that option.
They'll be there. Either they'll be in a group home or they'll be there with them. Yes, definitely. And what I'm finding is, especially now, it seems like more and more the adults are just at home after they graduate. They're not going to work. They're not doing anything. We just met with a young man who's in the program now, and he had been at home for 7 years. Because he graduated 7 years ago. He hadn't been to the movies. He hadn't done anything. you know, that's not been with his own family, you know, but because when they leave their high school group of children that they're with in high school, they lose all their friends. It's like suddenly you become friendless, you know. You may be very popular in your special ed class at school, but when you graduate, they're gone, you know,
That's
so it's
true.
like they lose all of their friends.
So you have to create those avenues for them outside
you have to create those and looking for opportunities for them to feel normal. You know, I know that's not, you know, appropriate in terms of, you know, saying, but really they need an opportunity to feel normal and to have friends and to interact with people just like we do. You know, so it's so important sometimes that stops behaviors. If I know I can send a staff over, especially a male, if I can send a male over to a male and say, hey man, let's just go play basketball. They just love that. And they pray that they never leave because, you know, that's one of the things. I had a probation officer and he was with me for 7 years and then he moved away. So we were like, no, don't go, don't go, don't go. He had like 9 of my young men.
Oh, wow.
And every Saturday he'd work with like 4 or 5, you know, this Saturday, then the next Saturday he'd work with the other 4 or 5. And they got so used to that when he left, it was just awful. So I'm always looking for men, women also that really want to come in and really change somebody's life because this is more than babysitting. It's much more than that. You're teaching them life skills. You're teaching them, you know, manners. You're teaching them all types of things. So it's just really an awesome opportunity to change someone's life. It really is.
Oh, wow. Wow, and that is, you guys did hear her. She said she's looking for men and women to come and be a part. So her information is on the screen, and I really want you to consider it. You may not have somebody in your family that's special needs. You may never even know anybody or known anybody, but just think about a heart of giving and think about how our Lord and Savior gave to us just because he loved us. So if you think this is something that you would like to do, just try it. And then, hey, if it's not for you, explain to her, say, I don't think I can do this because everything is not for everybody. But, you know, give her a call, come in and see her at her place of business and talk to her more and more how you can get involved about special needs. So that would be good.
Definitely. Thank you. That's awesome.
That would definitely be good. So let's talk about the book a little bit about Adrian. You said that there's several tips in there that you want to say. Give us a couple of those tips.
I have 10 lessons that I learned as a result of Adrian. And what I'll do is I'll give you the first 3 and then the last 3. And that way that'll give you a good little section. The first one is acceptance. And you know what, you guys, I will just be honest with you. When he was diagnosed, I was just I thought, well, no, he's just little. He's going to grow out of this. This is going to be fine. But I didn't realize how much I was in denial. You know, everybody wants their child to be normal. You don't want your child to be born and